Don't buy the iPhone 14, it's a big disappointment. Some few days ago, Apple released their latest flagship lineups, the iPhone 14 series. Apple went an extra mile this time around in terms of specs. They even went as far as mounting a 48MP camera on an iPhone for the first time ever. Apple is not a company that fancies a lot of changes and upgrades in their hardware department. But they sure gave us some surprises this time around. They did some magical works combining hardware and software to work seamlessly with the Notcher dynamic island thing. The Pro models came with a lot of new features that should be enough to convert a lot of Android users to iOS users for sure. Many were full of praise to Apple for giving iPhone enthusiasts something to brag about. But all upgrades were made for the iPhone 14 Pro and the Pro Max. Out of too much excitement for the Pro models, many did not really pay much attention to the normal iPhone 14 model. I will not talk about the iPhone 14 Plus because at least it has a bigger display. What went wrong with the iPhone 14? The iPhone 14 itself is the biggest disappointment of the year. I don't think any phone will beat it in this category. Why do I say this? It marvels me how Apple could give us iPhone 13 and call it iPhone 14. I wonder who advised them on this. If you still don't seem to get what I am talking about, I will prove to you why the iPhone 14 is the biggest disappointment of the year. First of all, did you know that the iPhone 13 is exactly the same as the iPhone 14? Let us get into this by comparing the specs of both phones. iPhone 14 display. The iPhone 14 comes with a 6.1 Super Retina XDR OLED display with Dolby Vision. It has a brightness of 800 nits which can go as high as 1200 nits at its peak. It also has 60 Hz refresh rate with the resolution set to 1170 x 2532 pixels. The pixel density of the iPhone 14 screen counts at 460 ppi with 86% screen-to-body ratio. In terms of screen protection, it has a scratch-resistant ceramic glass and oleophobic coating to do the job. iPhone 13 display. The iPhone 13 also comes with a 6.1 Super Retina XDR OLED display with Dolby Vision. It has a brightness of 800 nits which can go as high as 1200 nits at its peak. It also has 60 Hz refresh rate with the resolution set to 1170 x 2532 pixels. Just like the iPhone 14, the iPhone 13 also has pixel density of 460 ppi with 86% screen-to-body ratio. In terms of screen protection, it has a scratch-resistant ceramic glass and oleophobic coating to do the job as well. Both devices use the same chipset. iPhone 14 CPU and CPU. On the performance side, the iPhone 14 runs on Apple's Bionic A15 5nm chipset. On the graphics side, it uses Apple GPU with 5-core graphics. iPhone 13 GPU and CPU. What we realize here is that the iPhone 13 passed on everything to the iPhone 14 in the CPU side too. The slightest difference here is that the Apple GPU here runs on 4-core graphics instead of 5. In practical world, this is very negligible, which means there is no practical changes here. We can go on and on with this comparison. In fact, both phones feature the same storage configurations as well. You are getting 128GB, 256GB or the 512GB, all running on 4GB of NVMe RAM. In the camera department, both phones rock 12MP front-facing cameras with depth and biometric sensors. The back cameras of both phones have the same diagonal arrangements as well. All cameras being 12MP sensors can record a maximum of 4K at 60 frames per second. There is a slight upgrade here though. The iPhone 14 is capable of recording cinematic videos. How many times do you do this with your iPhone? In conclusion, it looks like Apple didn't do anything new with the iPhone 13, sorry iPhone 14. Some Apple fanatics may mention satellite messaging. Well, I did not want to bring that into the comparison because I know it is a feature that many people will forget about it some few weeks after purchasing the phone. Now let me make this clear, I am not trying to hate on Apple here. Neither am I trying to burst the bubbles of Apple fans. I am an iPhone fan myself, but not a fanatic. So I applaud Apple when they bring something great. I also bash them when they try to play around with our hard-earned money in the name of upgrade.